What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I've noticed that I've got new subscribers on my channel, and I just want to say thank you for subscribing to my channel. And for those of you who've been watching my videos, I want to say thank you as well. I really do appreciate it. Today I'm going to start on a new series called Back to My First Love. Now, I'm not talking about my first love as in my relationship or whatever, not that I even had one, but anyway, that's not the first love I'm talking about. I'm talking about the first love that everyone had, and the one that people neglected as they were growing up, as they reach their teens and become an adult. That's the type of first love I'm talking about. As I'm doing these videos, then you'll understand what or who that first love is referring to. And I just hope that after you watch all the series related to this title, it would inspire you to really come back and to take a few steps back and just return back to that person who loved you first and the person that's always been there for you. So today I titled this series God's Will for Me. All right, so if you see me looking down, I've got a phone, I've got a copy, just to make sure that I don't forget what I'm about to say in this video. Okay, so for the next few videos that I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to take it from the Bible, from Luke chapter 15, from verse 11 to verse 32. But today I'm just going to focus on verse 11 and verse 12. All right, so I'm reading it from the NIV version, and it's the parable of the prodigal son. Some Bible title it as the lost son. So I'm just going to read it and then we're going to get straight into it. So Jesus continues. So Jesus is talking to the people. I think it's the disciples that he's talking to in this section. So Jesus continued, there was a man who had two sons. The younger one said to his father, "Give me my share of the estate." And so he divided his property between them. I want you to understand that God created this earth. Everything that is on this earth, God created. And if you want to get a reference to that, that is in Genesis chapter 1, the very first page of every Bible that's out there. God created this earth. Everything that is on this earth belongs to him. Even the demons, even the devil himself was created by God. You have to remember that the devil was once an angel, and due to jealousy and wanting to take over God's throne, he was cast out from heaven into the waters, and that's why now he's a demon. So everything that's on this earth, God created it, and therefore God has all the wealth that people are possessing. God has that in his own hands because he created this whole he created the whole earth, the whole universe. All right, so the cars, the machines, everything that you see that people have created, it's all been inspired from God. Now, I know some people are not religious and they create some things, but every single thing is coming from God. All right, because God is the one that drops these ideas in people's heart, even though some of them don't acknowledge God and some of them do. And I want you to understand that when a father has a huge amount of wealth in his possession, when he has a huge amount of materialistic things in his will, he pass it on to his children because he knows that he's about to die and somebody obviously needs to take over from where he stopped. Now, the thing with God is God owns everything on the earth, so everything that you want, God is capable of bringing it to you, and God is capable of giving it to you and granting your request, with the condition that you follow his will. Okay, because God has a plan and a will for your life, and the reason why a lot of people don't know that plan, and the reason why a lot of people don't know his will, is because we're too busy trying to figure out life by ourselves. We're too busy trying to plan our life for ourselves, which is good. It's good to plan your life. It is good to plan. I do plan in myself, but it's very important for you to know the will of God for your life, what he wants you to do, what he wants you to achieve, where he wants you to live, where he wants you to stay, who he wants you to marry. All those stuff are part of his will. And when you follow his will, lots of things that you want in life, the car that you want, the type of house that you want, the type of life you want to live, you will receive that when you are in God's will. And that's why a lot of the people in the Old Testament who decided to obey the call of God, or who decided to follow God's will, they were never poor. David wasn't poor, Abraham wasn't poor, Isaac wasn't poor. All these people who received the call of God, who decided to follow God's will, they were never poor because they were in the will of God. And that's how it is in the physical realm. When a man has a lot of wealth in his possession, he gives it on to his children, especially if the children, you know, if the children are good to him, because there's some kids that are very rebellious and they just run off. They don't look after their dads, they don't look after their parents, they just go out there and live their own life, and they forget their family, and they do whatever they want to do. But when a man's dealing with a child who he loves so much, he passes his will, he passes all his wealth to his children to carry it so that his children will never lack. Now, going back to the scripture that I picked, this younger son, okay, asked his dad for his wealth. He asked his dad for one of his property, or did it say half? Oh no, he asked his dad to share his estate with him, and so the dad divided his property between his two sons. You can ask God, you know, for anything. You can request anything from God, but the one that God will answer is the one that is in his will. That's the one that he's going to answer, the one that's in his will. So if you're asking God, you know, I want to be a German citizen, and it's not in God's will for you to live in Germany, it's not in God's will for you to stay there, he might not, you know, answer that request because it's not in his will for you to be there. So God's will for your life, it comes with peace, is stress-free, and at the same time there's inner joy inside his will. Let me tell you, a lot of people, the reason why a lot of people don't have peace in their life is because they're outside the will of God, and they're just doing whatever they want to do. And in the process of just doing whatever you want to do, you hurt people, you end up, you know, committing a crime against the law of the land, you end up breaking rules, and so on and so forth. So peace is taken away, joy is taken away from you because you're not inside the will of God. It's good to have a plan for your life. It is good, and we should always be planning our life, but that will is something that you need to know. You need to know, why has he called you on this earth? What does he want you to do on this earth? That's what I mean by the will. Always remember that the plan that God has for your life is better than the plan that you have for yourself. I can testify to it. My plan was not to come to the UK. My plan was not to be a designer. In fact, I wanted to be an event manager, and I thank God that right now I did not pursue that at all, because I've just realized that I do not even have the capacity to do that. I didn't even know the amount of stuff that was involved in doing that kind of thing. And you know, following God's plan for my life comes with peace for me, and I feel like life has a lot more meaning when you allow God to come in, and things that you never even thought you'd have in your life, you have them because you're inside the will of God. And when you're inside the will of God, and when you're inside God's plan, there's protection. There's protection against evil, there's protection against people who want to cut your life short, you know. There's protection in so many areas that you can't see because you're in God's will. Do not be hesitant to follow God's will or God's plan for your life. Okay, don't be like, I'm not sure, should I not do it? You know, what if this, what if that? God's got you. Always remember, God's got you. And the plan that he has for you is way better than the plan that you have for yourself. I'm telling you now, if you follow God's plan, you will not regret it. You'll be forever grateful that you even asked him to show you the will and the plan that he's got for your life, because there are things that God has in store for us, and the reason why we don't know is because we don't ask. And then there are things that are hidden from us that eventually will come to us, but the reason why he hasn't showed us yet is just so that no human being would come and, you know, try to divert the whole thing. So if you go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 9, it says, however, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, what no human mind has conceived, the things that God has prepared for those who love him. There are things that God has in store for you that you would never even think you will get in your life, if only you will follow the plan that God has for you, if only you would accept the will that he's got for your life. One of the ways of accepting God's will for your life is discovering your purpose, why you're here, why he's created you to be here, and for you to start following that, and for you to start pursuing that. If he wants you to stop something, stop it. If he wants you to pursue something else, pursue it. If he wants you to start a new course, start it. Let me tell you, when I was done with my degree, my mom had pressured me to, discover my purpose, right? She pressured me that I need to know what God has called me to do and to make sure that I pursue that, because that's the only thing that I can do that will prosper, right? So I started praying to God about it. As soon as I was done with my degree, God just told me that, okay, now you're finished with your degree. Now I need you to pursue what I've called you to do, which is to be a designer. And that's why right now I'm a hand embroidery designer, right? This is something that I never imagined for myself. I never thought in my life that I would be doing hand embroidery. I've never even heard of it. And then on top of that, part of his will was for me to move to the UK, and I thought in Ireland that I thought I would get married in Ireland, stay in Ireland, grow up in Ireland, everything be in Ireland, but that's not the plan. And let me tell you, following God's plan, sometimes you don't know everything that's going to happen every step of the way. Because I know the human mind wants to always know, like, what's the next step? What's going to happen if I do this? What's going to happen if I do that? What's the pros and the cons? With God, it's not like that. With God, it's just follow me. I got you. Just follow me. Just keep going. Follow me. And if you follow me, I'm always going to be there for you. And, God's going to be quiet for a while, but you just keep going. It's like when you're in a car and the GPS isn't talking and you're moving, but GPS isn't talking. It's not talking because as of that stage or at that time, you're on the right path. As soon as it starts talking, it's telling you, listen, before you take the wrong direction, make sure you go this way. And that's how it is with God when you follow his plan and when you follow his will. You don't always know what's going to happen every single step of the way, but there's peace. There's that inner peace that comes with it. When God told me to quit my job and told me to start designing and stay home and start doing that, I tell you something, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy going from earning 1,000 and something every month to earning nothing, absolutely nothing. I had to go back to like job seekers allowance. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's a thing that the government set up for those who aren't working and they're looking for a job, and they give you money every 2 weeks. The money is small. It's not a huge amount of money. It's just enough to keep you going day to day. It's not even enough to pay the house rent or any bill in the house, right? But since the time I've quit my job till this day, all my needs have been provided. I've not been lacking. God's been providing in ways that I never even thought of. There was a time where I needed a huge sum of money to sell some of my stuff, and I was just like, God, where am I going to get the money to do this? And next thing you know, the tax company just sent me a letter that, look, we've been paying too much taxes right now. We've been charging you too much, so we're just going to refund your money back. And they paid about 400 and something pounds. And that was it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't always know how things are going to work out, but God's got you. He's got you. That's the thing. He's got you. He's not going to let you down. He's not going to leave you alone. He's got you. You just need to trust him and follow him and stay on track, and don't be distracted every single step of the way. And don't ever think that God's plan might not be as good as mine. No, it's better. It's so much better. And the fruits that come out of it, the things that yield out of it, is going to be beyond your imagination. So that's what I want to talk about here in coming back to my first love, meaning that a lot of us, some of us were born in Christian homes, some of us we've heard about Christ, some of us we've never heard of Christ, but Christ loved us first. Remember, he sent his son to come die for you. He loved you first. And so as you were growing up, when you heard about him, some of you accepted him, and then after a while you derailed. Some of you didn't accept him, and then you don't know whether to come back to him, but he's still there, and he's still got that plan, and he's still got that will for you. Remember, he owns all the earth. Everything that you're looking for, he's got that. But when you keep moving far away from him, you can't get that. And then you're going to be struggling and sweating and stressing yourself out and coming across so many obstacles that should have been conquered a long time ago. So I want you to come back to the person that loved you first. Come back to the person who has your interest in his heart. Come back to the person that loves you for who you are, that knows you more than you know yourself. And when you do that, I'm telling you, you won't live a regretful life. So many people are living a regretful life, having so much regretful memory because they're out of God's plan, they're out of God's will, and they're trying to do things their own way. When you are in God's plan and you're in God's will, your life will be moving forward and forward only. There's no going backwards. There's no, stuck in one place. You're never going to be stuck. You're going to be moving forward and conquering challenges that comes your way. I'm not saying the road's going to be easy, but what I am saying is he's got you. He's got you, so you're never going to be stuck. And in every situation, if you come across an obstacle, he'll tell you what to do to overcome it. That's it for this video. Stay blessed and stay beautiful. Bye.